The heat's been turned up on the slow roast of embattled Labor MP Craig Thomson. The Commonwealth Director of Public Prosecutions has been handed an 1,100-page report by Fair Work Australia suggesting up to 76 criminal offences inside the union Mr Thomson ran before he entered the Parliament. The report hasn't been made public and details of what's in it remain secret. Still, the opposition is challenging the Prime Minister to back Mr Thomson. Political correspondent Tom Iggulden reports from Canberra.
Today's developments a milestone in the Craig Thomson saga, but not the end post.
I'd be very surprised if it's actually here today.
After more than 3 years of investigation, Fair Work Australia's 1,100-page report into Mr Thomson's old union is finally finished.
Look, we've been wanting this to be over, and I wish it had been over 2 or 3 years ago, to be honest with you.
But details are still under wraps. The only clue as to its contents contained in a short press release in which Fair Work's General Manager acknowledges it raises many significant matters which may be appropriate for the Director of Public Prosecution's consideration. 181 matters to be exact, more than 70 of them said to be serious. Fair Work says it's up to prosecutors to decide whether to take action in relation to possible criminal offences. Mr Thomson's alleged to have rorted $100,000 of union money to pay for prostitutes, overseas trips and election expenses. The opposition says today's Fair Work report could contain evidence of those allegations.
The Coalition demands that this report immediately be made fully public.
It's a matter for Fair Work Australia when it's released, and I'm not going to speculate about what its contents may be.
Fair Work hasn't released the names of the 3 ex-union officials it says are the subject of its report. Craig Thomson nonetheless released a statement promising to cooperate with further investigations. "I maintain my innocence and will continue to do so," he says.
The challenge for the Prime Minister is to state whether, in the light of this latest development, she still has full confidence in Craig Thomson. The challenge for our agencies of justice is to demonstrate that the same law applies to members of Parliament as applies to ordinary citizens.
Even some Labor members say Fair Work's been dragging its heels with its investigation into the Health Services Union.
This has taken too long, and I think certainly the members of the HSU USA have a right to know what has been going on in their union.
High-profile HSU official Cathy Jackson is continuing her campaign against Fair Work on the back of today's news.
Members are saying to me, what's gone on here? Why is the Fair Work Australia protecting the government? And it seems that way, but I think the only way we're going to get to the bottom of this is by having a judicial inquiry into the goings-on at Fair Work Australia.
But a judicial inquiry is unlikely, as is any immediate prospect of the Fair Work Australia report being made public, though the opposition will most likely try to have it released through the parliamentary committee process. But the government couldn't do much about another report out today, the Auditor-General's scathing assessment of the Australia Network tender process.
The government determined that it was best that the ABC do that work, and that was the right decision.
This is Sky News.
But one that went against advice from bureaucrats to give the contract to Sky News was arrived at after a turf war between competing ministers, and which finally came only after the tender process itself had been called off entirely.
It shows that this government can't be trusted with money, can't be trusted to follow due process, and senior members of this government can't be trusted to be honest with each other about what's happening.
No one pretends that that was an elegant process. It wasn't. But these things happen.
And happen too often for the opposition's liking. Tom Iggulden, Late Line.